Come on, bruh. Turn me up. Turn me up. 5.3K on the day. 1.1K, 1,047 across 4 top steps. Here's proof in that right here. And then $1,086 on my NinjaTrader Live account. Let me refresh the page. This ain't LARP. And boom, 1,086. You can see my sells, and this is my buy. So let's get right into the trade recap. So coming into today, I had a very interesting bias. Overall, we're in an uptrend. We're in bullish structure. We're at all-time highs. We've already swept past that. But my bias for today was bearish, and I'll tell you why. If you guys have been watching my videos, you know that I take trades based off of the 4-hour time frame. I don't care what the daily is. I don't care what the weekly is. I take trades based off the 4-hour time frame. And today, we were bearish on the 4-hour time frame. You can see price broke structure to the downside on this red candle over here. This is a low over here. And we closed past that on this candle right here. So today, I had a short-term bearish bias, but on the daily and the weekly time frame, on the very high time frames, obviously I'm bullish. Since my daily bias for today was bearish, obviously the game plan for me was looking for any reasons to go short. And let me start off by marking out where market open was. At 9:30 market opened, and the first thing that I'm looking for, since we're looking for shorts, is buy side liquidity to get swept. Okay, so let's find out what I actually saw at 9:30. Well, we had this hourly high within here, as well as this hourly high right here. I believe this was actually a 4-hour high. Yeah, this was a 4-hour high. And these were my draws on liquidity. I wanted these levels of buy side to get swept. And if we were able to get a valid execution point after sweeping those levels, I was willing to go short because of the 4-hour time frame was bearish. And let's dive into the 1-minute time frame to see what actually happened at market open. Well, market open at 9:30, and as you can see, price kind of just chopped around for a bit, okay? Chopped around for a bit until about 10:30, so an hour later. This is where we saw the first hourly high get swept. Okay, so if you guys watch my videos, you know exactly what I'm looking for. After the first hourly high gets swept, all I'm looking for is a 1-minute break of structure to the downside, as well as a fair value gap getting filled with reaction, an equilibrium discount, or an inverse of a fair value gap. So let's see what ends up happening. Well, we get a break of structure to the downside on this candle right here. This is a 1-minute low, and we break structure to the downside on this candle right here. So after I didn't execute off of this because I need to see one more confluence to go along with that. Because a liquidity sweep in a 1-minute break of structure, that's cool, but that's not enough. I need one more piece of confluence. So I was just waiting for equilibrium to get filled. So from this high to this low, you can see price never ended up respecting the equilibrium. It just kept on pumping up. I wanted to see closure below that, so we never ended up getting that. So, and as you can see, price ends up breaking 1-minute structure back to the upside. So I need to wait for another 1-minute break of structure to the downside. And we didn't get that until over here, I believe. So this is a low right here. Price ends up breaking 1-minute structure to the downside on this fat red candle down here. You can see it closes at 290.75. The low was at 293. That's a strong 1-minute break of structure to the downside. So all I'm looking for now again is the same shit. If either a fair value gap getting filled or an equilibrium discount with a reaction or an inverse of a fair value gap. You can see from this high to this low, price never ends up coming into that mid 50% midpoint that I really like. But this was a fair value gap on the 1-minute time frame within here. So this was a 1-minute bearish fair value gap. You can see price breaks 1-minute structure to the downside like I wanted it to, and then it comes right back up, fills that 1-minute bearish fair value gap, and all I'm looking for from here is a bearish candle reaction out of there. And you can see that's exactly what we got on this fat red candle over here, and that's exactly where I entered my short position. On this low right here, had my stops above the high, and within there, I believe I had 2 take profits, but I ended up closing all my positions at TP1 just because I saw that it was the federal fund rates today, I believe. Yeah, it was FOMC, and I didn't want to fuck around with that. So let me see where TP was I had TP1 at this 15-minute low over here. And then let me just make that green real quick. This was TP1, and then TP2, which I had marked out obviously at the beginning of the session. It ends up getting hit later in the session, but like I said, I closed out all of my positions at TP1 because of that FOMC news that was happening at 2 p.m. and I don't want to fuck around with that. So as you can see, what ends up happening after we executed, well, price kind of edged me for a bit. We ended up making a strong flush to the downside. I honestly should have taken profits on the way down because this was already almost a 1 to 2 RR, but I remained confident just because of my daily bias for the day. Price ends up reversing. We sit in drawdown for a little bit, and then from there, we end up making a flush down, kind of like a roller coaster before getting the ultimate move down and smacking TP. That's where I closed out all of my positions for a nice 1 to 3 RR. Overall, really well played, really strong confluences to go along with my temporary daily bias for the day. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I would have changed a single thing except, yeah, I didn't take these on my Apex accounts because I was out this morning. I was trading on my phone and not on my actual setup, so I didn't have time to whip out Apex, which kind of sucks, but profit still came out with 5.3K. And yeah, as you can see, this is why you want to get out of your trades before that FOMC hits at 2 p.m. Like, just look at this shit right now. Absolutely volatile price action. Like, what is this, okay? This is why you always want to get out of your trades before that 2 p.m. FOMC. But yeah, that's honestly a wrap for the video. I didn't take any trades on Monday or Tuesday. This is my first trade of the week. So, solid start to the week, I guess. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.